We're beginning to see it in some ways up in Seattle. It's what happened in China. And, when people are confronted with that, suddenly this low-risk phenomena that everybody talks about isn't so low anymore. And that's what we need to prepare people for. In studies in Germany, which just have been published literally in the last 24 hours, they actually followed a group of people who had been exposed to somebody in an automobile manufacturing plant. And then they had 9 people that, with this exposure, he said, if you have any symptoms at all, contact us. We want to follow up. And they all agreed. Well, they got infected. And so in the very first hours, just feeling bad, sore throat, they went in and sampled their throats, their saliva, their nose for virus. They did blood, they did stool, they did urine. And they found that at that very moment, when they first got sick, they had incredibly high levels of virus, sometimes 10,000 times that we saw with SARS, in their throats, meaning they were infectious at that point already, and they hadn't even had symptoms yet of really any nature. They weren't coughing yet.
Wow.
And that's where we're concerned, because that's the kind of transmission. I always have said, trying to stop influenza virus transmission like trying to stop the wind. We've never had anything successfully do that other than vaccine, and we don't have a vaccine here. So what's happening is that people in public spaces are getting infected. And the way you need to address that is, unfortunately, if you're older, over 55, you have some underlying health problems, which unfortunately a lot of Americans do. We have obesity. Then right now you don't want to be in large public spaces. You're trying to potentially get infected. And I'm going to come to that in a second, because they're getting infected, it turns out. One study showed that they still get infected with the virus, but they don't get sick. This one appears to be the same. If I'm sitting in a room with 100 people and we're kind of sharing air, the transmission is remarkable. Right here off the coast of California, you've got your cruise ship. Cruise ships are notorious for recirculating air inside the inner cabins. We've had a number of outbreaks.
That's why they're having these outbreaks on cruise ships?
Yeah, well, they can put them in quarantines of some kind if they want and follow up on them, but you're guaranteed they're all going to keep getting infected day after day.